Sydney's morning light spilled across the harbour, painting the waves in 1,000 shades of gold and blue. Ayaan adjusted his tie and looked at his reflection in the cafe's glass door, noticing the faint tremor of nerves beneath his confident exterior. Today felt different, as though the air itself carried anticipation and uncertainty. He spotted Zoya at her usual table by the window, her sketchbook open, a soft frown of concentration creasing her forehead. Even amid the cafe's hum of chatter, clinking cups, and the low hiss of espresso machines, she seemed unbothered, serene in her own world. He walked over, careful to hide the flutter in his chest. "Morning," he said, smiling, as casually as he could. Zoya looked up, her eyes meeting his with a warmth that always made him pause. "Morning, Ayaan," she replied softly, closing the sketchbook and marking the page carefully. "How's your morning?" "Better now," he answered, glancing at her drawing. "Trying to capture the harbour." "Yes," she murmured, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "But it never looks as alive on paper as it does in real life." "You always see the world differently," he said. "I could never notice half the details you capture." Her cheeks warmed slightly. "You're just flattering me." "No, really," he insisted, leaning closer to glance at the sketch. "It's beautiful, Zoya. You have a way of seeing the small things that matter." They shared a quiet moment, suspended in the soft hum of the cafe, the world outside fading to background noise. It was in these moments that Ayaan felt their love most tangibly, a gentle certainty that whatever the world threw at them, they would endure it together. Yet, a subtle shadow hovered over him, one he could not yet name. His phone buzzed in his pocket, breaking the fragile serenity. He ignored it for now, but the vibration reminded him of the world waiting outside this small bubble, the world of responsibilities, choices, and looming opportunities. "I'm glad we are here," he said softly, reaching for her hand. Zoya's eyes softened, and she squeezed his hand gently. "Me too. I don't know what I'd do without you." Later, walking along Sydney Harbour, the salty breeze in his hair, Ayaan's thoughts were troubled. He had just received an email from a prominent marketing firm he had applied to months ago. "We would like to invite you for an interview next week. This could be the opportunity of a lifetime," it read. Excitement warred with anxiety. Accepting this job could mean long hours, a potential move, and less time with Zoya. The thought made his chest tighten. He looked out at the glimmering water, wondering if love could survive ambition, if loyalty could endure opportunity. Zoya sensed his distraction. "Are you okay?" she asked softly as they strolled through the park, leaves crunching beneath their feet. "Yeah, just thinking," he replied, forcing a smile, though the weight of his thoughts lingered. "Nothing important." But it was important. Very important. And Ayaan knew the coming days would test not just his patience, but the strength of their bond. The week passed with a mixture of tension and fleeting joy. Ayaan attended interviews, each one stirring hope and uncertainty, while Zoya immersed herself in her art, though her mind often wandered to him. Their conversations became tinged with unspoken fears and quiet reassurances. One evening, Ayaan came home to find her sitting on the balcony, sketchbook in lap, gazing at the harbour. "You've been quiet today," she said, noticing his contemplative expression. "I have a lot on my mind," he admitted, running a hand through his hair. "Opportunities, decisions, things I can't ignore." She studied him, her gaze soft but probing. "Whatever it is, you can tell me. We are in this together, right?" "Always," he said, though uncertainty gnawed at the edges of his confidence. The tension escalated when Maya entered the scene. A co-worker at the firm, she was vivacious, charming, and immediately taken with Ayaan. Her interest was flattering, but it also unsettled him. Zoya noticed subtle changes, the way he occasionally drifted into thought, the distracted tone in his replies. Ayaan, for his part, tried to reassure himself that nothing could sway his loyalty, yet the complexity of human emotions and the lure of opportunity made him question how steadfast one could truly remain. One evening, after a long day, Zoya confronted him. There's something different about you lately, she said, her voice steady but tinged with hurt. You're distant. Are you hiding something? I'm not hiding anything, he replied, though he knew the truth was more complicated. I just have a lot to think about. But I'm part of your life, she said firmly. You can't shut me out. That's not love, Ayaan. That's avoidance. He took a deep breath, realizing she was right. I'm sorry, Zoya. I don't want you to feel that way. Sometimes I worry about the future, about making the right choices. She reached out, touching his arm. We'll face it together. But you have to be honest with me. That's what loyalty is, isn't it? Not just staying, but sharing the burdens too. The weeks that followed were filled with quiet tests, moments that seemed trivial but carried immense weight. Missed calls, unexpected emails, the subtle attention of others, the pressures of ambition, they all layered themselves between Ayaan and Zoya. Every decision, every glance, every hesitation became a reflection of their love's resilience. Ayaan's inner turmoil grew when the firm offered him a contract that required relocation for 6 months. The offer was life-changing, the kind that could define his career. Yet, it demanded sacrifices, long hours, distance from Zoya, and exposure to temptation in the form of colleagues who admired him. He wrestled with guilt and fear, knowing that any misstep could fracture the delicate trust they had built. Zoya noticed his silence one evening as they watched the sun set over the harbor, the sky a molten mix of gold and purple. You're thinking about the offer, aren't you? She asked quietly. He nodded, unable to speak. Then we need to talk, she said. I need to know where we stand before decisions are made. Love is tested in moments like this, Ayaan. And so is loyalty. He took her hands in his, feeling the warmth of her touch steady his racing thoughts. I choose you, Zoya. Whatever comes, you're my anchor. But it's not just words, she said softly, eyes glistening. It's actions. Choices. It's when the world tries to pull us apart, and we still hold on. That's the real test. Ayaan's heart ached with both fear and resolve. The coming days would challenge everything he believed about love, about himself, and about what it truly meant to remain faithful in a world full of distractions and temptations.